Hello students. In the previous lecture we discussed about Nicosia model of consumer behavior. In this lecture we will be discussing about Harvard-Saith model of consumer behavior. Harvard-Saith model is an attempt to explain the rational brand choice behavior within the constraint of limited individual capacities and with incomplete information. This model basically attempt to deal with both overt behavior as well as the internal and the cognitive behavior that cannot be directly observed. So this model distinguishes three levels of learning, or you can say the three stages of decision making. The first one is extensive problem solving, limited problem solving, or routinized or habitual response behavior. So we will be discussing these levels of decision making one by one. We have discussed in previous lectures too, but we will be quickly going through these. So first one is extensive problem solving. In this type of problem solving takes place when consumer knowledge and the benefits about the brands are very limited and not existence, and he does not have any specific brand preference. Here the consumers actively seek information about a number of alternative brands before making the purchase decision. Second one is limited problem solving. It is here when the consumers knowledge and the belief about the brands are only partially established and he is not fully able to access brand differences in order to arrive at a preference. So here comparative analysis of brands is done by them. The third one is your habitual or routine response behavior. Routinized response behavior occurs when a consumer's knowledge and belief about a brand and its alternative are well established and consumers predisposed to the purchase of one particular brand. He knows very well about the different brands available in the market and can differentiate between different characteristics of each product. So he decodes to purchase the product. He is very well that what is the purchase decision he has to take. So this is a routine one. Now, the major set of variables. Howard-Saith model postulate four set of concepts that he said as the construct or variables. These are input parameters. Input provided by three types of stimuli, that is signification, symbolic, and social. Second construct was perceptual and learning construct, which includes motivation, attitudes, learning, perception. Third set of variable was output parameters, which means the final decision resulting satisfaction or dissatisfaction after the purchasing of product. Then the last one is regarding the indirect inference on the decision though through financial status, social class, personality traits, religion, etc. This big figure has been taken from internet. There are certain mistakes in the spellings like inference and religions. So ignore these mistakes. This is the Harvard seed model. Here you can see these are the input stimulus display, significant, symbolic, social, and informations. Here it is talking about overt search. We will be discussing then in the coming slides. So this is the perceptual construct, then learning construct, and this is the output one. So input, perceptual, learning, and output. Now, first of all, we will be taking about input variables, or you can say stimulus input. It is the stimuli that are in the environment. They take the form of information cues regarding the product and the offering. This can include like physical brand characteristics. It could be significant stimuli or verbal or visual product characteristics. That means the symbolic. Significative stimuli means the physical characteristics of a brand. Whereas verbal and visual product characteristics, which is visible, that is symbolic, such as quality, price, distinctiveness, availability of the services, as well as the symbolic meaning of these variables. So marketer in the form of product or the brand information furnishes symbolic stimuli so that it will be easier for a marketer to for consumers to get through the product. So all these three types of stimuli provide inputs concerning the product or brand to a consumer. First one is significative stimuli. These are the physical characteristics that the marketeers provide comprises of significant component. It deals with essential with brand characteristics. Second one is a symbolic stimuli, which means the psychological form in which a buyer perceives the product or service offering like brand, or if it is figurative, then verbal and visual product characteristics. And perceptual, and it depends on how the offering has been positioned. It emanates from advertising and the promotional efforts. So these are visual and the verbal product characteristics. Then the last one is social stimuli, information about the product or service offering that comes from the social environment. And social environment could be family, group, society, or culture at large. Second construct is hypothetical construct. There are two major groups under this. First one is the perceptual construct and the second one is the learning construct. So these constitute the central part of the model and deals with the psychological variable will operate when a consumer is going through the process of decision making. So perceptual construct means it deals with how a consumer is obtaining the information and how the information is being uh, processed, which is received from the input variable. So once the buyer is exposed to any information, there is attention, and which depends on the buyer's sensitivity to the information in terms of his urge and receptivity towards the towards such information. So what exactly happens? We see something and we try to capture it in our mind. So how our mind is processing that taking that information and then processing it, and whatever information is shown to us, or whatever information is given through various stimuli will not be absorbed by our mind. So not all the information would be processed, and the intake of information is subject to perceived uncertainty, and there is a lack of meaningness of information. That means there will be a ambiguity will be there. So this ambiguity is referred as stimulus ambiguity. So degree to which the buyers regulate the information flow that is coming from the stimulus is, so it occurs when a consumer doesn't understand the message that is coming from the environment. It could trigger off a need of specific or active search for information. This could lead to an overt search of information because he is not able to understand what the message have come from the stimuli. The information that is gathered and processed may suffer from a perceptual bias. Bias means if the consumer distort the information received so as to fit his or her needs. There might be many situations when the product is something different, but it is perceived something else by the consumers. So that according to the whatever need the consumer has, he is fitting that need to the product. Then is the learning construct, that is the second part of hypothetical construct. So it relates to learning, formation of attitude, opinions, and then finally going to the final decision making stage. The learning constructs are seven in number, and it range from buyer's motive for a purchase to a final satisfaction from a purchase. So this is an interplay of these construct and ultimately leads to a response output or a purchase. So the first one is motives, which refers to the goals that a buyer seeks to achieve through a purchase of item, or the corresponding urge towards an action of purchase activity. So these are impinging the buyer's goal impinging upon a buying situation. Then coming to the second factor is brand comprehension, is the knowledge and information that a buyer has about various brands in his evoked set. The buyer forms an order of preference for various brands. This order of preference is based on the choice criteria, means they have made certain decision mediators with the help of which he is making the preference regarding various brand. Or you can say an ordered set of motives relevant to the product which is under consideration. So decision mediators are the evaluative criteria and the applications of decision rules by the buyers to various purchase alternatives. Then based on these criteria, the attitude will be formed regarding various brands. It reflects, attitude basically reflect the predispositions of the buyer, preference towards alternative brands. There may be feeling of like and dislike, preference or liking and disliking will be there. The brand potential of the evoked set determines the brand perception and the concept and the confidence level of brand that he is considering to purchase. Then is coming to the purchase intention is a cumulative outcome of the interaction of the buyer's motive, choice criteria, brand comprehension, resultant attitude, and confidence associated with the purchase, and ultimately leading to the final purchase of the product. So satisfaction is another learning construct which involves the post-purchase evaluation, whether expectation from the offerings matches the performance or resultant impact. It could be positive or negative impact. So first of all, we are gathering information from the environment, then it is getting processed. After being processed, the processing will be done on certain criterias, and based on these criteria, that attitude will be formed. There will be a liking or disliking towards a product, which will ultimately lead to the purchase of the product. Once the product has been purchased, it will either lead to satisfaction or dissatisfaction. Now, these are the response output. It refers to buyer's action or response to the stimulus input. So, according to Howard and Said, the response output comprised of five constituents. So, what were the five constituents? Were attention, comprehension, attitude, intention, and purchase. These five components can be arranged in hierarchical order, starting from attention, ending up with purchase. So attention is the degree which information that a buyer accepts when it is exposed to the stimulus. So it reflects the magnitude of buyer's information intake. Means up to what level the buyer is taking information from the uh, environment. Second is comprehension, means once the information has been taken, now the thing is he actually processes it, stores. It is referred as brand comprehension, which is the buyer's knowledge about the product or service category and brand. Then is attitude. We have already studied in detail in unit 2. It is the composite of cognition, affect, and behavior towards a product or towards a service. The attitude reflected evaluation of brand and the like and dislike based on the potential of brand. Now, once attention, comprehension, and attitude has been done, then coming to the intention. It refers to the buyer's intention to buy or not to buy a product or service. So, purchase behavior means the actual act of buying. The purchase behavior is cumulative results of other four constituents. So, once it has been done, like a time we have gathered information from the environment, we have processed it, and we have formed attitude also, and then we are intending to buy a particular product, uh, and then we are making a purchase decision. Then exogenous variable, these variables do not fall properly within Howard-Said model, since make no attempt to explain their formation and the change takes place with them. uh, these influence some or all the construct we have explained above, and thus impact the final output variables. These are also explained as inhibitors or environmental forces that restrain the purchase of favored brand. Suppose the importance of purchase, final price, financial status of the buyer, time at the disposal of buyer, personality traits, social pressures. So these are all exogenous variable which are inhibiting you from making the purchase. So the value of Howard-Said model is that it represents a heroic attempt to identify and organize the major variables influencing the consumer behavior. It portrays that the consumer is actively searching information from the environment based on past experiences and forming generalization for making the decision making. Now, working relationship between constructs and the model. The final purchase decision is based on the interaction between brand comprehension, the strength towards the attitude formed towards the brand, or the level of confidence in making purchase decision and purchase intention. So actual purchase is influenced by buyers' intentions and the inhibitors which are prohibiting consumers to buy to go for the buying decision, which he confronts. The entire process is impacted by various exogenous variables like the importance of purchase, why the purchase is important, the price, the time available to make the purchase, social and the cultural influences. All these affect the purchase decision. After the purchase, the buyer experiences the satisfaction. If the performance exceeds or matches the expectation, there will be a satisfaction. In the reverse scenario, there will be a dissatisfaction. So this satisfaction would strengthen the brand comprehension, reinforce the confidence associated with the situations, and strengthen to repeat purchase of the brand. With a satisfying purchase decision, the buyer learns about buying in similar situation, and the behavior tends to get routinized. The feedback thus influences the consumer's attitude and intention. So then the buying decision process that a buyer undergoes and the factor that affect his choice towards the brand. So the process starts with that you get exposed to the information. As a result of exposure, there is a stimulus ambiguity which leads to overt search of information. This overt search of information uh, will lead to the interplay of attitude and motives. Then ultimately you form an attitude regarding a product. In other words, the search of information and the conclusion that has been drawn would be filtered by a perceptual bias, means that would result as attitude, confidence, search motives. Then you will make searching a certain uh, choice criteria, then leading to the purchase decision. So now coming to the advantages and limitations, that is the last part of the model. Uh, this model is partially tested. So some credibility is there, and that is the model is dynamic, is accomplished by learning occurs due to the change in the exogenous period of time. That's why this model is called dynamic, because it is changing due to the change in the exogenous variable due to the period of time. There will be a change on time. There will be price change will be there. You have some social and cultural influences also. So we are taking care of exogenous variable in this model too. So this model is a dynamic model, although it has many limitations, like it does not account for any for non-systematic behavior. A few products are purchased only occasionally. In other words, the consumer might purchase a product simply for a variety, or because of the same product or brand has become boring. So this is the another limitation is that it's uh, applicability to the situation in which there is no awareness of the individual product within the product class. So consumers are not aware. So despite of these limitations also, it is a useful framework for thinking about the consumer behavior, and it has made attempt to bring many variables which are affecting the consumer behavior. So we are done with the models. In the previous lecture we discussed about Nicosia model. In this, we discussed about the Harvard State model and the various constructs. Four construct was there: input variable, hypothetical construct, responsible, and then output variable.